Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Janelle Slade. A citywide scare shut down all Great Falls public schools and most private schools for the day.
Great Falls parents were alerted through phone calls and text messages that schools would be canceled for the entire district.
As of tonight, no threat or bomb has been found in any Great Falls school.
Well, this afternoon, police and school officials shared details into the early morning alerts and what led to that decision to cancel school. MTN's Jennifer Hausman has the latest.
The handwritten note contained threatening language, including the specific threat of an explosive device being planted at multiple Great Falls schools.
An unexpected school closure took the Great Falls community by surprise. At 5:37 Monday morning, a staff member of an elementary school found the handwritten note and notified the district immediately. Great Falls Public Schools reacted quickly, sending out alerts to parents through texts and phone calls. Erring on the side of safety, they decided to close school Monday and cancel all after-school activities. Just before 2:30 p.m. on Monday, Superintendent Tom Moore spoke with investigators and shared an update at a media briefing.
All of our schools in Great Falls Public Schools have been cleared at this point.
Superintendent Moore also stated that at this point, the Office of Public Instruction is not going to require them to make up the day, but if that changes, students and staff will be notified.
At this point, statute allows for us to have an emergency day. I've spoken with Superintendent Hartson and the staff at OPI, and they're working with us.
Reporting in Great Falls, Jennifer Hausman, MTN News.
Thanks, Jennifer. Now, if you believe you know the person responsible, you are urged to contact the Great Falls Police Department.
Well, the search is still on tonight for 3 men who made a violent escape from the Bighorn County Jail in Hardin over the weekend. Bighorn County Dispatch tells us that Andrew Leroy Parham, Stephen Patty Ryan Caplet, and Anthony James Castro are still on the run. They broke out late Friday night, leaving at least one employee injured. Bighorn County officials have voiced their concerns in the past about overcrowding in that jail, which Q2 learned had more than 50 inmates at the time of the incident, despite having a capacity of only 34. In 2018, an effort to get residents behind a remodel and expansion of the jail failed.
Well, tonight, a person with a history of travel from China is sick and is now in isolation at Bozeman Deaconess Hospital over concerns of coronavirus. Gallatin City County health officials say so far there is no confirmation that the patient actually has the virus, but the patient does have travel history to mainland China. Officials say the situation is not unexpected and the department has been preparing for it. They also say the risk to others in Montana is very low. Now, we've also learned that the state has been monitoring 10 to 15 other individuals across Montana, but none are showing any symptoms of concern.
Well, more in health news tonight. Yellowstone County just got its report card back on the overall health of the community.
The report is conducted by Riverstone Health, Billings Clinic, and St. Vincent Healthcare. One of the goals is to increase Yellowstone County's lifespan and provide a better quality of life.
Q2's Mitch Legge joins us now with more. Mitch?
Well, Russ and Jeanelle, the study is called the Community Health Needs Assessment, and this is the 5th time it has been conducted since 2005. This much data means that doctors and community leaders can identify clear patterns to help make decisions on how to improve the community's health. One of the main things the health assessment looks at is the difference in healthcare access among people with high and low incomes. Overall, Yellowstone County has seen an increase in access to healthcare and an increase in physical activity. One statistic that stuck out to researchers were the rates of people thinking about suicide.
I think what really struck us this cycle is some of the mental health indicators. So about 1 in 5 Yellowstone County residents express that they have thought about suicide, and that's just kind of a gut punch. So being able to think about that and think more importantly, as a community, how do we respond?
And coming this summer, Healthy by Design will publish the Community Health Improvement Plan based off the data learned in this study. That plan will be created with input from community residents, city planning departments, and public partners, all hoping to improve the overall health of Yellowstone County. Russ and Jeanelle?
All right, thank you, Mitch.
Well, Mayor Bill Cole steps up to the plate and joins the National Mayor's Task Force to stand together and fight to save the Billings Mustangs.
As we've been telling you, Major League Baseball has been planning to eliminate 42 minor league franchises across the country, the Mustangs being one of them. Those cuts would come ahead of the 2021 season. Now, to help structure the process in a way that players are brought up to the majors. Meetings have been pushing this forward this month, and the decision could be made any day.
Mayor Cole encourages anyone who has an interest in this to contact our congressional delegation and tell them how important it is to save the Mustangs.
Fortunately, Senator Daines, Senator Tester, and Congressman Gianforte have already gotten involved, which we're very appreciative of. But we're critically dependent upon them going to bat for us. We can't strike out.
Now, there's no hard date set for when this decision, if made, will be, but discussion and negotiations continue.
Recent University of Montana economic update showed Billings on a slow growth pace, much slower than Bozeman and Missoula. The trends in retail and wholesale trade actually dipped the past 2 years when adjusted for inflation. Billings developer Steve Corning has been at the forefront of Billings development, especially on the West End, including King Avenue West and the Shiloh Crossing. Corning said it took 10 years to get Shiloh Crossing to where it is today. He continues to believe West Billings offers the best bet for business.
Well, historically, there's always been a very steady westward drumbeat in Billings. In other words, the development has continued to move west. Retailers like co-tenancy. They like the synergy of other retailers. And so the first thing they do is want to know who's around them, who's in the market, where the gorillas are. And by gorillas, I mean the Targets, the Walmarts, the Shields, the really dominant anchors. That's what they want to be next to. And because that all exists on the West End, there's probably a strong likelihood that any new retail will have a proclivity to go that direction.
Corning says local entrepreneurs have done a good job giving life to downtown Billings, but it would be hard to match Bozeman or Missoula because the Billings downtown area is so large. Now, we talked to Corning about several topics on Billings business, and you can see that interview on KTVQ.com.
Well, a second Democrat has officially filed to run for the party's nomination to challenge Republican incumbent Steve Daines. Cora Newman of Bozeman paid her filing fee this Saturday. Now, Newman is a health policy expert, and running for the Senate is her first run for public office. While she's a political unknown, she leads fundraising among the Democrats in this race with about $460,000 in the last 3 months. The other Democrats are Helena Mayor Wilmot Collins, engineer John Muse, and Michael Knowles from Bozeman. Daines is running for re-election to a second term as Montana's junior U.S. Senator. Now, candidates have until March 9th to pay their filing fee to appear on the June primary ballot.
One of the groups seeking to legalize marijuana in Montana will revise its proposed initiative.
This after state officials raised legal concerns over the original draft. New Approach Montana is proposing a pair of initiatives to allow recreational marijuana for people 21 and over. Now, leaders say they have removed a provision that would have reduced the tax on medical marijuana.
State legal analysts say making any changes to the medical marijuana system would violate a rule that initiatives only deal with a single subject. Therefore, New Approach decided to focus only on legalization. Another committee, Montana Can, is also trying to qualify a legalization initiative.
Well, there's more news from across our state on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news. Feel the love. Some historic Montana Valentine's cards, well, dating back to the 1800s. They're now on display at the original governor's mansion. Join me for that story and much more on your MTN statewide news on the CW.
But first, still to come on tonight's 5:30 news, a Livingston couple honored for taking action and helping to save at least 5 children from abuse.
And later in sports, surprising news from a Montana coaching legend who will be back on the field next year.
And coming up in weather, we still have some scattered light snow showers around south central Montana. We'll tell you about some of the fretboards we also have to talk about and what's it like to have 3 feet of snow at your house. We'll show it to you coming up.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 5:30 news on Q2, Montana's news leader.